Well, welcome back to Carolina Saltwater Living. We're doing a walk and talk today. I'm going to start this thing from the beach out here. We're fishing. Already been pulling in some nice southern kingfish, also known as whiting. But I wanted to do a video, and I'm probably going to do a couple of videos with the same type of title or intro. This one is called, "This is Why Many of You Are Stumbling." And you will understand why it's titled that way once we get on into this walk and talk. But let me start off, and I'm on the beach, y'all. I wrote down the scripture I wanted to use because I don't have my Bible out here with all the fishing gear in the wind. But from 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 18. "For the message of the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing, but to us who are being saved, it is the power of God." So I've been getting quite a bit of hate mail, whether it is emails coming to me, comments that are, some of them too vulgar that I have to delete them. And sometimes I just leave them up if it's not really that bad, if it's not going to steer somebody in the wrong direction. But I'm not focusing on the bad. What I want to focus on is the same thing that everybody else is stumbling on, and that is the fact that you are saved by grace. You're not saved by works. We're going to get into that a little bit deeper. But right now I'm going back to fish a few minutes, spend some time with my Miss Lisa, and we'll pick this thing back up from the screened-in porch at the house with that gentle breeze after it warms up a little bit, because it's still cold out here. But we're going to talk about grace, y'all, and works, and how many people are missing the boat, literally, because they're trying to earn their way into heaven. Figured I'd let y'all see a little bit of the fishing action too while we're doing this here walk and talk. And I may get it all done out here at the beach, but I may have to finish it at the house. But y'all, we're called to be fishers of men, not just fishers of fish. We're not called to be people that scare people away or shame them away from salvation. Ain't that something? When you use the right kind of bait, you'll start catching stuff. But when you use the wrong kind of bait, you might get a strike or two here and there, but you're not going to catch anything. And I am using fishing bait as a, not a metaphor, I'm using it in place of, what kind of bait are you using to try to catch people for the Lord, to sow seeds of righteousness, to explain salvation? And y'all, we're fishing while we're doing this. I think Lisa's getting a bite over here.
No, you are.
Or I'm getting a bite. So let's reel it in and see if that good bait's working. We'll keep talking about this. Let's see what's on here. Something's on here, I think. I don't know, it don't feel real.
Something was hitting it anyway.
It feels small. Actually, it took half of my bait.
Yep.
But it lets me know the bait's working, right? Now, I'm going somewhere with this. A lot of people get their underwear in a wad if they hear somebody read from a version of the word, a translation of the word, other than what they believe dogmatically is the only way. Well, let me tell you the only way. The only way to heaven is through Jesus, the gospel of Jesus. Let me read something to you here. Let me pull it out of my pocket. Here's how you Look at it. Ephesians chapter 2, 8 through 9. For it is by grace you have been saved through faith, and it's not from yourselves, it is the gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast. That grace of God was displayed on the cross of Calvary. He paid the ultimate sacrifices for sin so that you don't have to. Do not get hung up on what version of the Bible somebody sits beside of you on the pew at church with. Don't get hung up on that. Don't get hung up. It reminds me of when I was a kid. I remember people getting hung up if you wore dirty shoes inside the church. They'd say, oh my gosh, dirty shoes, you gotta vacuum it up. Or don't let them youngins eat that pack of nabs while they're in the sanctuary. People care more about physical matters than they do heavenly issues. The gospel is the gospel, whether you read it with these, thous, and yeas or yees, or with plain English. It's the gospel. Whatever language you're reading it in, it's the gospel. The gospel goes across all barriers because it's the gospel. For by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast. Let me tell you what doesn't save you. The length of your hair doesn't save you. What you eat doesn't save you. How you dress doesn't save you. How you condemn others doesn't save you. You shouldn't be condemning others to start with. We are called to be the light of Jesus in this dark and dying world. Take a look around. We got some kind of drones up in the air, or orbs, who knows what it is, whether it is natural or unnatural. We got places around the world where if it moves, a bomb's going off or a bullet's getting fired. And we got people worried about how long a person's hair is, what version of the word that they're reading, translation, if they're eating snacks in a sanctuary. Get over it. Get over it. Paul says this. Let me read this. It really sums it up greatly. This comes out of 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 5. Examine yourselves as to whether you are in the faith. Test yourselves. Do you not know yourselves that Jesus Christ is in you, unless indeed you are disqualified? Before you start condemning other people for the foods that they eat, the way to wear their hair, the version of the word that they're reading out of, examine yourself. Are you trying to be saved by your acts of piety, by your acts of goodness, by your works? Are you trying to get saved by that? Are you trying to share the gospel by telling people you got to do these things to be saved? No, it's by grace. That's the stumbling block. Jesus. It's so easy to be saved. And that's the stumbling block. The grace portion of it. People want to put more on it than it is. If people would start understanding that they are saved by grace through what Jesus did on the cross for you, taking all the sin of the world, your sin, on him for all eternity, salvation would become a whole lot clearer, and you would stop worrying about everybody else and start looking at yourself. Got to keep tight lines out here so you'll know when there's a bite. Y'all, there's a parable that Jesus told, and you'll find the account of it in the book of Luke. I'm paraphrasing here because I'm just pulling it from memory. But there are two men that find themselves at the same, I'll call it a church service. There's one man that I believe he's a tax collector. I believe that's right. He's praying to God. There's another man that basically says, God, thank you that I am not like these other people. Thank you that I am following every bit of your law. My hair's the right length. I don't eat stuff you say I can't eat. I give so much of my money to this organization, the temple, the church, what have you. Thank God especially I'm not like this tax collector over here, the sinner. And the tax collector is beating his breast, his chest, and he says, God, forgive me, a sinner. I was the sinner that recognized I needed salvation. Have you recognized it? Or are you still trapped in tradition, trapped in legality, trapped in the old law that Jesus fulfilled, and now you're under grace? Fall into grace. That's the point of this message. Stop stumbling over grace and how easy it is to have a relationship with Jesus, the only one that can save. Guys, I hope that you have found this beneficial. If you got nasty comments, I can delete that. Hopefully you don't. Guys, y'all have a good day and a great week. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise too high. We will see you on the next one from beautiful Carolina and Carolina Saltwater Living. God bless.